Hey, Peggy and Johnny, can you guys hear me?
From like the water side, they had some equipment in there, and we went to dinner at the Bow House the other night.
Am I
And I
supposed
saw
to
all
do
this
something?
stuff down there.
Yeah.
Green light.
There is.
Yes. I know at this rate, no one's in the room except for him. This is gonna go super fast.
I heard.
Maybe we scared everybody out. We're on a mission.
Hey,
If we can hit 30.
I'm
that would be
asking
great.
you all these questions now.
There's more
Have you met
people.
Dennis, our new treasurer?
Trying to figure out who this guy is.
Nice to meet you as well.
Oh, it's Navy Point Marina.
Met up at Barracks today, talked about puddles.
It's fine when it doesn't rain, you know, it looks great.
There's puddles there today from Sunday's rain, so they had their paving contract, they were paid right, taken care of. He's got this infrared machine that I'm talking about before. Put it down, it heats up the pavement so that it's almost like brand new, so he can add stuff to it and then it all blends together. He believes, even though it's super flat from the one catch basin to the other, he can come in with his milling machine. He's gonna take shots, he's gonna run a string line, but he believes he can get all the puddles out using this infrared machine, and if he's gotta do a milling machine as well. And I said, Jason, if you think you can do it, I just want those puddles.
Yeah.
gone.
Yes.
Because we're not taking it over
What we
until they're
want,
gone.
they want,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't care what they have to do to get rid of them, just do it.
So, it sounded good. He was pretty confident what he could do. Says, I don't know if I'm gonna get here to do it, but I can tell you it's gonna be before snow flies. So we'll wait and see.
The longer we put it off, the longer we don't have to plow it over
Yeah,
there.
Linda was
So I'm
hoping
fine
like,
with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Next year.
Yeah,
I'll follow it.
Yeah, I'm fine with the longer they take, the less
That's the
we have to
last
plow.
thing we have
That
to do.
is,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. And I'm not willing to take it until that's fixed because I don't want our plow trucks over there.
No, no,
Yeah.
because you have released the hounds.
Yeah.
Texting with Sarah?
No, she popped up
She
there.
popped up on the screen. She must have commented in the comment box.
Yeah, can you guys
I,
hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure.
Yeah, we got you now.
Stop talking about Sarah Kelly.
It wasn't.
She
Yeah.
was, and
You guys just unmuted, so I can only imagine.
We're on a mission to be done quick, Sarah.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, where is everybody at?
Exactly. The room is empty. So I think this is gonna go very fast.
That is very strange.
It is. It's weird. I'll take it though.
I think I talked to you last time around too. The numbers I gave were a complete brand new roof,
Mhm.
EPDM and.
And it was a guess. It was like a
And yeah, I
guesstimate
had
per
gone
square
on
feet.
to know what
Mhm.
you had done, and Lynn's quote is a pair of the existing roof, so.
Right.
Nuts and bolts different.
What,
right.
do you remember what your number was?
I have it in the email. I kept it. It was like 300,000 without.
I gave two different scenarios. One,
Yeah.
we pull the existing rubber roof off completely, and then so that was the higher one, and then the other one was she can overlay like shingles. Sometimes you can overlay another EPDM over it. I want to say the lower one was like $25 square. I think it was that 300,000 range.
Okay.
That's what I had originally.
And that would be considered a replacement? versus a repair or?
He said with a
Yes.
repair, it would be $22 a square foot or 165,000, depending on how much insulation is up there. A replacement of all of it, you were guesstimating would be $50 a square foot or 375,000, and that was with no asbestos, which we don't, I'm gonna assume it's up there. My only concern, and I can play stupid with this. Well, I don't know if we're not video recording, right? Okay, then I'll wait. I just don't know if the other person, what he's gonna find when he rips the skylights out, right? Cause the minute you do that, you have to report it if you see it.
No, here's the other thing. I mean, this is a Band-Aid, right? We'll have to do this again. How many
That's
years
what I
later?
don't want it to be a Band-Aid. It needs to
Right.
be replaced.
We, obviously, we have the money to do a replacement.
I just don't know if
I don't know if we do. I'm
Well, I
concerned
mean-
with, we're over budget on the water intake project. It came in higher than we actually budgeted for.
which will eat up that money that we were just talking about that we collected
Okay.
in taxes.
Okay,
So originally I was like, we need to look ahead in the future to put money aside, not thinking we were doing the roof, like we need to. I didn't think it was gonna be 30 or 50,000. I figured it would be more in line with what his quote was.
I didn't think it was gonna be this year, though. I
Didn't
figured
either when we
had a
talked
couple
about
years, But
But I like this idea of, that's why I said, I use the term Band-Aid. Buy us a couple of years to start saving money in the capital fund.
Or, I mean, is that a good? If it was your house, would you do that though? Would you spend 30,000 to put it off for 5 years? I don't know if I would.
I wouldn't,
I wouldn't either.
personally, I wouldn't.
And so I feel like we're doing that with everyone else's tech dollar. We're, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'd be willing. I wouldn't do it at my house.
I don't think though, but we're recording, but I don't think we're in a place to, pay for a new roof on.
I would agree with that. That's why I'm saying I don't know if we should do it now. Is a Band-Aid? I don't know.
Okay, but we have to do something with that money.
So I think.
How much is extra? How much did you say was the
It
extra?
went from like, I think it was like 280, 529 or something like
Almost
that.
300,000. Two something,
250?
right? But then you said the water plan
Yeah.
came in over, so we could use the money for that.
Right,
We had to take a loan out. We have to pay the loan off.
Right, we do.
that's why we need the capital reserve
Right.
funds.
Right.
So we earmark,
But Alex keeps saying, well, we can wait till the end of the year. And I'm like, why? Why are we waiting to December 31st and then missing a deadline?
he's not here.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we get started with the Pledge of Allegiance, excuse me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We good, Peggy? We recording?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I am Ron Mildred. I am your deputy mayor. That is a real position. Welcome to the shortest meeting you guys will ever be part of, or at least the shortest meeting that has happened in the last 10 years. So with that, I'll stop pontificating. We'll get started. Let's do a review of the minutes from last month's meeting. Have you guys had a chance to read them? Any questions?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed, minutes submitted. All right, we'll move on to our public comment section. This is our first of two. I'm going to take this time now to open up the meeting to public comments. Is there any public comments this time?
Is there anyone online?
Is there anybody online who's interested?
We have just Sarah and John Lisa.
Okay.
All right. Nothing heard from the audience here, nothing heard from anybody online. I'm going to close the first public comment at this time. Open it back up here at the end of the meeting. All right, treasurer's report. Treasurer's report, just so everyone understands, we're in the midst of transitioning that position. Dennis, say hi. He's our new treasurer at this time. Jim's going to stay on board to kind of assist him for a time being. Shannon has moved on to greener pastures. That being said, there is no treasurer's report at this time, but we do have the bills. Okay, so we're going to skip over the treasurer's report. We'll get that at a later date. Let's talk about paying the bills. Has anyone had a chance to see the bills?
Yes, I will make a motion to pay the bills.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
I'll
motion
abstain.
passed. Sarah's gonna abstain from that vote because she had not read them and she's not here in person. I forgot to mention Sarah Miletta, the other trustee is online. She couldn't be here physically in person today, okay? All right, bills are paid. Moving on to DPW, I'm sorry, department reports. We'll start with Lynn and his DPW report for August. Lynn, are you online? All right, let's take a look real quick at his report. Unit 5 is 3 shop buildings, fresh from July storm. He's helping out a little bit on Robinson Hill, it sounds like.
The in-kind stuff. Or whatever you call it. Okay.
You getting kickback for that?
No, but it just counts on,
Goes towards the bill.
Okay.
right?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Nothing for free, Brendan, you know that. You've told me that. All right, 2 part-timers done for the season, got it. Storm sewer repair on Holmesville Street. You see. All right,
He does probably want an answer on those traffic signs on the corner for those cars that were parking on the lawn. Do we okay with him getting traffic signs? Or signs for no parking, sorry, not traffic.
where's this?
Number 11 on the last page.
Okay, yes.
Um,
Further parking on for lawn for an event at the ballroom.
he wants to put up signs for no parking during whatever that event was that was at the ballroom. Are we okay with that?
You already have signs already, or you guys got purchase?
I think we have enough, I don't know. I can ask him.
I mean, no, there's no issue with doing that.
All right,
especially at
let
large
me
events.
just follow up with him. He did attach that quote for his, oh no,
Yeah, no issue doing that during big events. If we have to purchase the stuff, just come back with the 3 quotes as per the SOP.
all right.
All right, if nothing further for Lynn, let's move on to Officer in Charge Gleason. Officer Gleason, are you online?
Yes, sir.
All right, what do you got for us this month? How was last month?
Oh, we made it through the 2nd annual Sackets Harbor Marathon without any incidents, so I guess that's a plus.
Success.
I did notice that traffic slows down a lot when you put no parking signs in the middle of the road. I know we talked about on like West Main Street for the intersections with the crosswalks they were looking at by Goodfellows and everything. When I had the cones in the middle of the road to let everyone know there was no overnight parking, it slowed traffic down a lot. I know we had mentioned like getting similar signs to the ones that are on Broad Street. So it was kind of like an experimental thing. But
Okay. That's
just
good
to give
know
you
that.
guys a heads up, it slowed traffic down on West Main Street during that evening. I know it was met with a little bit of resistance from at least one business owner called and wanted to remove them until after midnight, which I had to explain that would be pointless because if you put them up at midnight, all the cars that were going to do street parking would already be parked there unattended. So, yeah, but I think he called Alex too.
Okay. How was it? Was there any cars parked on Main Street during the marathon after you put those signs up?
There was only 3 when I came in at like 5 in the morning, and we got one of them to move, and then one of them did move, I think, right at the start of it, and then the last one was a resident that lived right across the road from where their car was parked, and I can only assume because I know their spouse is in the Sackets Harbor Living Group. I don't know how they wouldn't have known about it, but I don't know. I knocked at their place, and finally we just decided to leave it there.
And then they were stuck because then they couldn't get out, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, right, sure. All right.
But and
Well, thanks
luckily
for
I think it was
assisting.
I think it was
Right.
up far enough where I don't think it ruined any photo ops.
Appreciate you and the team assisting with that event. Sound like it was a very successful event again, so thank you.
Yep.
Any questions or comments or concerns for our Officer in Charge Gleason?
No, sir.
I just have one thing, John, this is Greg. I'm not sure if it came to your attention, but right at the beginning of West Main Street, essentially in front of the bank building, there were a couple different occasions where, you know how the curb juts out there?
Yeah, where there's like no parking to the corner.
Right, right. And there were vehicles parking there. This goes back a couple weeks. I've been out of town for a week, so it was just before I left, but I noticed it on at least 2 different occasions. And I think maybe what happened is someone who, you know, wasn't familiar with the parking parked there, and then other cars saw that first car there and just, you know, fell in line behind that one. But it
Right.
happened on a couple of different occasions. So I, you know, just concerned that it doesn't become a habitual thing.
Right. And I know on the one side, I think that was a sign that was damaged during the storm. That said like no parking from here to the corner. Remember where that big tree went down?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly where it was.
Right. And I
Missing a
think with
sign.
that sign, yeah, I think
Oh,
that
okay.
sign got taken out. And so then it's like, I guess common sense goes with it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, I was going to talk to Lynn about that because I know I'm pretty sure that's where Officer Wood issued a ticket the one day because they were bottlenecking people. And so
Right.
I think he did right one of the cars that was there. And all,
Okay.
like you said, once one person does that, everybody's like, oh,
Right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it, and you know, I don't know if it's gonna be an ongoing situation, but maybe once we get the sign back up, you know, the issue will go away, because I don't recall in the past that ever being a problem.
But that coincides with the fact that now the sign is
No, no.
missing.
Right, yeah, so,
It does make sense.
yeah, we
So
definitely need to get the
yeah,
sign back.
and I'm glad, I'm glad you brought it up because I had totally forgotten about it too. That I was going to touch base with Lynn on that to see if he needed me to get a hold of the sign shop guys, Luke up there, and get another one made, or what he wanted to do.
Yep.
Okay.
Do exactly that. And Kelly's gonna double tap that one, okay? She's also gonna talk.
Yep,
to
I'll reach out to him too, so if he gets it from both of us, he'll follow through.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Was there anything else? I didn't notice there was only like one boat that stayed down there, and I talked to the guy. He worked up in Watertown and had got called into work or whatever and left his boat, and he said the same thing, that he didn't see the sign that said no overnight. And I forgot I was going to touch base with Dave on that too. I'll get a hold of you later, Dave.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, fire department, you wanna cover that during your
Yep.
update? Okay, moving on to heritage area. You're up.
Okay, finally, this was I've been working on submitting the rebate grant for the police electric vehicle, the police have, it's been unbelievably. But I finally got it in. So if it's accepted, the village will get rebated $7,500 back.
Perfect.
So, probably spend more time on it. I've also been working on the New York Forward grant again this year. That's the Main Street sort of revitalization. It doesn't look like we're gonna have enough business projects to submitting it this year. Okay. We just have to work on it. We've been working with a unit that would run this now, Snaplink cohort or whatever. And they're very interested in doing some projects. First approached them about helping out with some of the trail work. They want to do some work at the military cemetery also. So I've been working with Lynn, and we're identifying some work that we've done, clearing brush around the back fence and that sort of thing. Military cemetery.
Awesome. Is this SnapLink program the replacement for the Adopt a Platoon or the
Yeah,
community
it's
outreach?
another one. I was trying to remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, they link up with stuff and they do. They've met with the brigade commander, or battalion commander. And he's very excited about it to do here. So he's got a little bit of a term. So
Is he, well, do you happen by chance to know, is it what kind of, is it?
it's an engineer.
Perfect, so they have heavy,
Yeah.
they have heavy construction.
Turned out they can't. But yeah, we're trying to work around. But he's very enthusiastic.
Okay.
His wife loves the village also, which they just moved here. He just started command, so.
Very cool.
So I think there's maybe we can get some stuff done. And the zoning committee, the zoning revision committee is gonna meet in early October. That's it.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave? Any updates on that sign that we was talking about for the boat?
Yeah, I'll get with John. I talked to Lynn, we just need, you know, the size that he wants. John wanted a bigger size, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be easy to do. It'll get done.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Visitor Center, what do you got for us?
I uploaded my report into Drive, so I think we all got it. Not a whole lot to report this month. We had 800, a little over 800 people visit us in August. No bus tour groups last month, but we do have 4 scheduled for September and 1 last one in October on Columbus Day. Questions? It's been a pretty good year for us so far.
Very good. Numbers are up, looks like.
Numbers were definitely up in July, not quite as much in August.
Right.
But that, I mean, that does sort of follow a general trend where kids are going back to school by August. We suck at there's that.
Okay. This is the second year for the marathon, right? So we'll have points of data going forward to see how that, you know, impacts the visitor center.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
No, we're good.
PCA, Corey first and Brendan. Or do you want me to go right to Brendan?
Wait, you skipped the planning board.
Oh, we'll come back to you, Janet. I'm sorry.
All right, Market Square Park, phase 1, no payment this month, but Bob is expecting to bill 100% at the end of September, which is a little over $64,000. Your remaining closeout items were needed. So, phase 2, which is the patching project, is handled the street over on Hill. They're making progress. The Hill, their last payment was application number 10 for almost $76,000. So they're currently working up the hill and they're expecting to be done by October 1st. So Brown Shores,
Hold on. I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Corey. You think they're gonna make it?
I think so. I think they're expecting to put topsoil down this week.
Corey said too.
Just checking to make sure they're on the right, the same page.
In front of him, I'm just checking. Sorry. For you.
That's the finishing touches, hopefully. So, but I saw them hauling the Ready Rock block, which is the precast block.
Yeah,
that goes along the top
I saw
today.
that. Okay, I saw it stacked and
Okay.
ready to be placed, so.
We have to, board, we have to talk about at some point, some kind of ribbon cutting ceremony
We should.
for both Marcus Park and Robinson Hill. So.
Yeah, that'll have to be coordinated with
The state.
state governor.
Right.
Right.
And are you their contact person for the whole
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
Have they talked to-
I just mentioned to the LWRP person a month or so ago that, you know, we'll be talking soon.
So it sounds like if it'll be done in October, that we would be shooting for an October ribbon cutting, or do we want to do it in the spring? They don't want to put it off, right? They want it this year?
Yeah, they.
Okay.
Look at the time. Is that right? If we can do it mid-October, right, for a certain date, November, that looks good for certain, you know.
Oh, stop.
I'm just saying, these things,
Say,
I know what I would do. But yeah, if they're ready, you know, we can coordinate that, sure. All right, fair enough.
Brown Shores Pump Station work started today. They were
Yeah.
excavating today and filling tomorrow and setting forms for the foundation for the expansion of the slab.
Okay.
The I&I study, so we've been in contact with Lynn and kind of point manholes just to see, get a baseline as to what's happening with I&I infiltration, groundwater into broken pipes or potentially sump pumps. So we're kind of monitoring that. Probably do full manhole covers probably in about a week or so. With the warmer, dry weather, it helps the water table to drop, so we can kind of understand if there's still flows coming in.
Sure.
That'll probably be in about a week or so. One thing that we did, we reached out to Dank, so they have availability to video camera the problem areas, which we're trying to identify right now at a rate of $175 an hour. That includes 2 men and a camera. I think there's a huge benefit to that, and we're just trying to narrow down the areas where we think it needs to happen right now.
What does that assessment tell us? Or,
They run a camera up through the pipe so they can see where the pipe's broken or there's flows,
Right.
Infiltration or
Right.
or this disconnect with the pipe.
Okay.
Our water plants project, actually I just checked the last remaining 250 feet of pipe was installed today. So the entire intake is now on the lake bottom of the directional drill, and then everything that is also very, so that was completed today.
Perfect.
But they are planning to complete the rest. You know, they started doing some interior piping with the pumps on the inside, but you know, the month of September, looking to move forward and thinking by October they might have things wrapped up out there. So
hey, two questions. Thank you, Brendan. So we found, I know we were struggling to find a place to kind of pin the pipe down like 100 meters. We found that, right? So we came out, did an assessment. We're finished with that, correct?
no, so the actual, they've been focusing on laying the pipe down, so your diver has not yet done a little shovel test to figure out where depth bedrock is.
Okay.
So we're still waiting for that information. That a decision whether if rock is too far down, then I probably won't be pinning to it.
Okay.
And then we'll have a conversation, keep everyone.
Just so you guys are tracking, so we have to bring another diver in to do that because they were struggling to find a place to pin the current. So more follow after you guys conduct that.
Yes.
assessment.
What's the frequency that has to be pinned? It's like,
We had it every 100 feet.
okay,
That was 100.
Yep. Yeah, because we had the weighted concrete anchors every 10 feet. And then just to kind of keep everything in place, we had, rebar pinned to bedrock every 100 foot increments.
what's total length of the,
Total length of the pipe is 3,500 feet. About 1,100 of that structural drilled under the lake. So we've got 2,400 feet that's actually on the lake bottom. So we got essentially 24 spots we'd be pinning to bedrock.
I think Alex and I had to kind of discuss, that was a last minute thing that we had to probably get the diver out there just because it's worth the risk, or it's not worth the risk to not do it, right? To have that pipe flapping. So we're gonna find a place to pin it. We just need the assessment to be done.
Yep.
Hey, the second question I have is, I think I heard someone say that we're gonna keep the second or the other pipe active, right? Is gonna now serve as a water service hydrant type of sorts.
We are in conversation with DOH. It'll keep active, but it won't be actually used to produce water to send to the system.
Right.
DOH is pretty clear that they do not want that, but keep it active potentially. I know Lynn was in conversation with the fire department. It's potentially a dry hydrant. So
Yes.
there may be some ways that the existing tank can be used as a dry hydrant attachment onto it. So if
Okay.
they ever needed to, if there's ice on the lake, they could still pull from the intake perhaps.
Right.
They were
Just-
talking about with that project, we didn't consult them about same thing with Market Square Park. We should have probably included them because if there's a fire downtown, like with the anchor, they can't get their truck down onto that left side of Market Square Park now. That was something I was gonna talk about, that they brought to my attention. So having a dry hydrant might be a solution. And they talked specifically, I said, if you had to pick one, that would be one that, because we're still in the process of building that one. So that on that end, if they needed to tap into something, they could do that. The other one I can talk about later is on the
Okay.
other side, but
Other two questions. Anything else?
And just the massive barracks on the paving, had a meeting today on that. The paving contractor believes that he can get the puddles out of the roadway there. He mentioned he's not sure when he can get up here, but he's got this infrared machine, no machine is gonna bring in everything he has and can level out, hopefully. While it's in there.
They stopped answering his phone calls until about November, right? So he can't do it, so we take it over, so we don't have to plow it.
All we gotta do. You just put that on the recording now.
Where's he based? He's not in a Watertown area?
Hey, right, Copenhagen,
Oh, okay, so he's local.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, good. I'm glad we're holding that standard, so that's important for us. Or to stipulate.
Aller had a representative there.
Yes, yeah,
So they're fully aware of
they're fully aware,
our
yeah.
position. Okay,
You know, I'll probably send a follow-up email just based on the conversation today and copy you. Also, treasurer.
okay, great. Thank you.
And 1.2 million came out to you guys for that.
Not to, well,
Mars.
to Marcellus,
Yeah,
not to
for
them.
that project. for
He
that
billed
project.
us for Marcellus, yes.
There'll be another big payout as well coming this next month.
Okay. What's the payment, percentage? You were gonna do like 30, what is it? 20%, 20%, 10%, another 10% on completion?
For Marcellus.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how much work they get done. I mean, I think we had kind of forecasted by November that they may have pretty good percentage of that, but we hold 5% retained until everything's done.
Right.
Right now, I think total for this 1.2, we're build Marcellus built just around 2 million.
It's about by 33%.
Yeah, but this next payout is probably going to be over another million. So
It's about 50% for the whole project, right? What do we say, 5.5 or something like
5 million is entire project budget, including engineering services, attorney,
Okay.
contingency, everything.
that? In my mind, when I'm doing, going to the budget gymnastics, if we're gonna have to,
Yep.
this budget season or next budget season. Okay, thank you. Anything for Corey?
So,
Anything for Brendan? Thank you. Planning board.
I reported over meetings tomorrow night, meeting a week earlier than normal. And this conversation about the paving just reminds me, Greg's been tracking that infrastructure agreement details, and I haven't talked to the planning board attorney in the last month, so to know whether the legal review of everything is proceeding, so that'd be a good thing to keep track of. And I know Dave is up here, he's been talking to about this interpretive signs that were part of the infrastructure agreement. And then I also had kind of forgotten about, as part of site design, I think Lynn had was concerned about snow drifting by the apartments, and tree planting was part of that. And the village was going to select a species, and I'm not sure the details on that, but that would be easy to forget about. And then get on the western winter, have a lot of snow drifting at the end of the polo field, and it's like, oh yeah, we were supposed to do that, and I honestly can't recall the details on what part Waller was doing on that, or if it was entirely up to those, but there was concern about.
Yeah, I thought-
The neighborhood.
Not to cut you off, Jan, I thought that there was an easement for Lawler to install snow fencing on a temporary basis on the, that far end of the polo fields. But I haven't looked at the language in quite a while.
Might have been maybe that sounds kind of familiar, like maybe last year, so they see how it goes or something, but I think
Yeah,
the original thing, overall plan was to have a windbreak of trees.
permanent,
Right.
yeah.
Anyway, so that'd be in addition to checking in with our legal review to make sure their attorneys and our attorney are all progressing. In addition to the pavement, then check on the signs, interpretive signs, and then wood break. Those are things that just popped into my head as we were listening to the conversation this evening.
And I recall the same thing on the easement, that there's additional easements into the polo field.
Yeah, right.
I recall Lawler was actually anything permanent or temporary.
I do remember the temporary too, but I don't remember trees, but
I don't remember the trees either, but I'm almost 99% sure that there was something about snow fencing that would, to me, be a seasonal thing where, you know, they would put that up before the onset of winter and then take it down.
And if
Spring.
it's not in there. Don't see the information clearly. Lynn would have the background of the evolution, whatever was decided.
Because even if, you know, there is something for trees, that would take some time to establish anyway. So there would probably be a period of, I don't know, a number of years where, you know, there would have to be a temporary snow fence put up.
Just one of those things, keep on the list.
Dotting i's, crossing t's, yeah. There's,
That's a good point. Thank you, Janet.
Sure.
yeah, you have Kristen Bast is doing a driveway. Has she ever requested to have that hydrant moved out of the middle of her driveway?
No, I haven't heard that she did.
Every time I drive by there, it's literally one of her kids backed into it. It's literally in the middle of her driveway. So I'm surprised that they're putting a red brick, which I think will look beautiful, but she's gonna have a hydrant right smack in the middle of it. I don't know how that happened. There's a hydrant in the middle of her driveway.
Hydrant was there.
And then she put the house in. I get that, but I'm like,
They moved that house from downtown to where it is now, right? They moved.
I think so. But her daughter's backed into it because it's literally in the middle of her driveway. So I just wondered if she ever tried to have it moved. I don't know. I just, for her sake, I would like to see it moved.
I think she's already started the driveway.
I saw the materials were there.
Well, on its way,
Okay, well,
but I mean, I think
I think she would love it if we would move it.
take the hydrants inside the sidewalk toward the street. But I'm sure they
Okay.
wanna get it done, so if the hydrant is relocated, they do.
Who's in charge of moving a hydrant? Is that a DPW thing? Is that a fire? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a Lynn question. I think he's been asked and he was like, no. He was being his grumpy self, so I might have to get on him on that one. I just think it looks, I feel bad because it's literally in the middle of her driveway.
As far as water project too, with, funding for that would.
We could move it then?
Water, yes.
Okay.
My father
That's
has
good to
one
know.
in his front yard. He just puts a bench and flowers in front of it, but.
You can't drive a car around it though.
Right, no, that's a whole.
I'm just thinking like winter, she's got to snow blow it, she's got to work, like, talk about a pain in the tail.
They must have made the driveway bigger at one point.
I don't
I mean, that's
know.
what I'm thinking too.
Well, the house got a lot bigger.
It did. She put an addition on the house and they've been working on it. It's just, it's literally in the middle of where her garage, when you pull in, it's in the middle of her driveway.
Yeah, their house
Was somewhere else, right?
there, but they've added a garage.
Okay.
Made it bigger.
Ah,
in front of the drive.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious if she ever tried to.
Fine when Lynn's in a good mood. I don't know when that is.
Good question. I'm gonna hold off because he's been grumpy lately, so I'm gonna let it go.
Peggy. What do you got for us?
I don't have a lot. ID from the visitor center is going to come in
Okay.
this week, because Johnny Crossley's wife had her baby.
Oh, good.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah.
Good.
And
Can we get a card out or something we
Did we already
sign
do
and
that?
protocol?
well, I don't think she had a baby on staff for quite a while.
Okay.
So,
See if we can do something and come back to let us know now. Yeah. That's good news.
I finally got the water bills ready to go out today. I mean, we're the first of the month. We're having problems with the water meters again.
Right.
And the program, the census program, talking to the billing program was an issue. So that's been resolved. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention that the meters, our 12-year-old meters, they have a 10-year warranty and we're replacing them. So we probably had 2 dozen this quarter.
Okay.
So they are the original The original installation was done for $300,000 grant years ago, and it's probably at least a half.
I believe it's the battery that is going dead, and the census meters don't allow you to replace the battery. They want you to replace the entire year.
Clever.
Imagine that.
Um, You know, if the village ever wanted, there are meters out there that you have replaceable batteries that could read a census meter, you know, so there's the touchpad that sends signals out, and then there's a battery on top of the meter itself. But there are meters out there in equipment that can correlate. And
Well, I guess my question is this, so we're starting to see some go dead. Are we gonna see about the rest of them go dead all at the same time? I mean, can we expect that to happen?
Well, if they're 12 years old and they have a
pretty
10-year
close. I mean,
warranty.
So when it first came out, they said the battery life is 15 years, plus or minus. You know, and it was prorated first 10 years. Now some of them have better batteries that will do 15 years, but this is the first meters that census came out that were this way.
It
I think
sounds
there's
like,
money in the water fund, and I don't know if it's all going to the water project, but we could ask, I don't know, but we should probably get on a rotating.
let's address this one too, you're right, so. Find out, we're gonna find out what that grant was, see if it still exists, I don't know if it does. And if not, you know, we have to start allocating funds for something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, there are grants for water meters. It's very difficult. If you have existing meters, a lot of times communities don't have any meters at all, get the grant.
so
The
they
grant
don't
went
do
away
it.
last year. It was through the GIGP Green Incentive Grant Program.
Yeah.
And they're still debating whether they're gonna have something else take its place. That's where our last conversation.
Okay, so maybe we start with asking Jim what the fund balance is in that water account, and if any of it can be used for meter replacements. 'Cause I don't know. I seem to recall that there was money left in there for a reason.
We could have a major problem.
Yeah, well, the
Our
bills went
hands.
out 10 days late because she
Yeah.
had to figure out why it wasn't reading and all
That
that.
was just a handful, right?
Yeah, that was only a dozen of them, but it happened all in 1 month, right, or 1 quarter, 3 months. Two dozen. A lot.
And obviously, what do you do when they come out late? You give them an extra 10 days to pay that bill?
What I could also do if the board wanted is bring some other manufacturers in that perhaps have replaceable batteries that could tell you what they could do. Replace these and still the batteries aren't replaceable another 10, 15 years, same thing's gonna happen.
Right.
And with these meters, typically they're ultrasonic, so there's no moving internal parts, so they're not supposed to lose accuracy. For some of the other meters that are mechanical, they say you want to replace them anyways every 15 years because the accuracy drops off. You might not be getting accurate readings, but with these no moving internal parts, maintain the accuracy throughout the life, just the battery that goes back.
Can we find one with no internal parts and replaceable batteries?
Yes, there is a
That seems
manufacturer
like a
out there
better-
that does do that.
Okay.
I'm assuming there are more, because they do both.
Surprisingly, they're less.
Why the heck didn't we go that route?
Have to find out why.
Why didn't we do that the first time?
They weren't
They weren't a thing then?
at that.
Okay, that makes sense.
May not have been falling under the grant. Maybe there were specific ones we had to buy. which
If
is
we
great.
were to start replacing them with that though, would the system still read them, or did we all, would we have to replace all of them under that? Or could you do
I believe you can do them as they fail.
with the new one?
That'd be a question you could ask, but if you wanted to bring them in, or I could just ask him and give information.
I'm just wondering if we're starting to replace them, would it be good to do it with that kind of a meter?
Do the whole,
And I mean, the whole community was $300,000 last time, but if we're gonna do them a few at a time, could we start doing it with the new style until
Right.
we get a grant to do the bigger, all of them? Rather than put the other one back in and have the same problem come up again in 10 years.
as long as you can read both.
That's what I want. I just want to make sure that the computer system will read it and that it will adapt to the program we already have. That was my question. So,
Yeah.
should find his way to the minutes. I think we need to talk about that,
Okay.
further. Moving on, Peg, what do you got for us? Anything else?
Nothing.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna open the floor to community organizations, any community organizations in the house. You guys don't count. How about on the line? Are there any community organizations on the line? Nothing heard, so I'm gonna move on to the board reports. I'll start with Alex. Alex has nothing. He's in Paris right now. Out of cell phone reach. I'm moving on to myself. So my only report or update this month pertains to the LDC. We continue to make significant progress on the LDC southern parcel over there on Ambrose Street. We're now at the point we actually have identified an architect. You guys may know of them. You want to guess who it is? Sitting right here in front of you. So BCA is going to kind of give us a layout of a proposed development over there, what the lots look like, and then what the infrastructure stuff. So, I don't know if you guys have started that yet, or if you got a proposed date to start that work.
Haven't started, but actually, Lynn will be doing some test pits there this week on Friday.
Yep.
See depth bedrock.
Yeah, so yeah. I guess 3.5, 4 feet max, but we'll see.
Maybe a little deeper on that side,
Think
of
so.
the road than the other.
Okay. So good progress being made right now on the housing development. Ambrose.
How many lot sizes is that?
I think we said 12.
Initially, now we're officially going to draw it out, I think what are we looking at, about
Oh, okay.
what are the lot sizes?
100 foot wide by 200 foot was just the
Okay.
original.
That's a half acre? Is that a?
I see, right around that half acre.
Want to follow? And that's all I have for my report. Any questions? All right, Kelly, you're up next with your report.
I don't have much. Things are pretty quiet with the fire department. They had 13 fire calls, 19 EMS, 3 MVA. Didn't have too much. Did you get the bill to, oh no, Alex sent you the information regarding reimbursing them with ARPA money, but I think he's gonna help you with that when he gets back to pay them. They purchased that tablet and finally gave us a receipt, so we have to submit that. Yep. The only other thing I had, which I talked to Lynn about, was opening or having village staff help with the transfer site, covering some additional hours to make that more accessible for residents. I know Alex had also talked to him about it. I know Alex reached out and talked to Mark Justman about it. Mark doesn't have the bandwidth to be able to take that on. But I think in the interim, the village, and Lynn is open to it, coming up with either a part-time person or something and maybe figuring out what do we want that to look like. But I don't think the entire burden should be on the town to man that, considering we have village residents that are using it also. And the Wednesday and Saturday, obviously people are, they would like to see it open more. So could we perhaps assist with that? So that would be my recommendation. I don't know. Do we want one more day? Do we want, I'm not sure exactly how much more we would want to offer that. They close at noon on Saturday. It would be good if they could stay open a little longer, but would that mean we would have someone come in at noon to help cover a little bit longer? I can work with Lynn to figure that out, but is the board open to giving some man hours so that we can get that open more for residents?
I think it's a great idea. I've talked to a lot of people that
They just can't get there during those times.
they can't get there.
I know.
They're working on Wednesdays
Yep.
and weekends.
By the time they get done with their yard work, it's closed on at noon. So, so I don't know, Lynn talked about perhaps doing it on a Friday. It would require a part-time person because we can't pull Jared and Mikey off their job. So would we keep on? He seemed to think that maybe John Madlin would stay on. He would be willing to do it 1 or 2 days, depending on what we decide. I'm asking if the board is open to it, and then I can let Lynn iron out the details.
I would do this, and I'm just one person. I'd have to understand the scope of work and what it's gonna cost us. Get that ironed out and bring it back to us and see if we can vote on it.
Okay.
That's what I would propose.
The summer staff are done, right? They're
Last.
All of them except one. Evan's still working. He should be done in the next month or so. All right, so we want transfer costs brought back to the board.
Scope of work and what's it gonna cost
I
us.
mean, all they're doing is sitting there. They're sitting there making it accessible for people to have access to it. But it is closed, lock and key unless there's a staff person there. So
They are, I don't know now, but initially, there were a lot of non-residents that.
Yes.
were going in there,
Yep.
Turned away. And I think that was part of the issue before when it was,
But that was part of the problem.
I-
Residents or non-resident people were using and that's, I mean, I'm not saying they were the ones making a mess of it, but it could have been.
into it.
But this way it's to village and town residents. I just, because we're having residents complaining, I think it's important that either we give one more day to make it a little bit more accessible. I don't know how to work it. I think Saturday is the day. That's when people aren't working. But I don't know who would want to commit to working every Saturday. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know,
Maybe they could
alternate. I don't know.
alternate, the,
That's
town
true.
village alternate or something
They
like
could
that.
do that, yeah. All right, so I'll get with Lynn about trying to figure out that. The only other thing I had, which I don't know if we want to talk about that now, was the Booster Club request for ARPA money. We do have to give them an answer, whether we punt it to next month or the school's Booster Club has approached us, asking us for $5,000 ARPA funds to match what the town has given them to purchase portable,
Covered dugouts.
thank you, covered dugouts that they would be able to use on a baseball field, a soccer field, or whatever. They're 24 feet long. They are portable in the fact that they can move them around that property, but not portable where we could put them in a truck, let's say, and move them to the ASO soccer. So over in the barracks, which that is a youth program that's got way more than 4 teams anyways. There was some concern about giving them the $5,000 to match when our kids don't use the fields that we put in over there anyways. So if we matching the money, really, we're trying to,
Followed, if this year and next year plays out the way last year played out, the entire village, the rec committee would have nothing to do with those fields. Therefore, they would gain no use of those dugouts. It would be 5,000 to the school to kind of, chip away at what they would ultimately pay for to cover dugouts for their sports.
right,
team.
apparently we didn't use those baseball and softball fields that we paid to put in. We haven't used them since they were done to begin with. So they were saying, hey, when we're done using them with varsity soccer and baseball and softball, you can use them for your youth program. Well, now I didn't realize that our youth program didn't use the fields this past summer. So they're asking for a 5,000 donation.
Because we weren't part of TI.
TIBC.
Is that gonna be rectified next year?
I don't know, the rec committee has to,
Okay,
determine what they need to
so
do.
we can't, that's like a crystal ball. We don't know the answer to that yet.
But the other thing is you have to be cautious of, and you brought it up before the meeting, which is simply this. ARPA funds there's a specific use of ARPA funds, right? And it has to benefit the entire community, right? So I'll be honest with you, I would not benefit
I
from
wouldn't
the use
either.
of covered dugouts over.
Right,
So I use me as the example, but there's other people. So I don't know if this meets the threshold or requirements for ARPA funds.
I would agree. Historically, the ARPA money that we have given out has been to organizations that met a bigger group of people,
The
right?
library.
The library, the fire department, right? That's a bigger group. I don't,
This is, we're in the home stretch as far as,
we have to earmark the money by December 31st.
right, and we have
And we-
50,000 still.
Yes, Alex still needs to, he was supposed to give me a price on redoing the security on the doors. I still haven't, he still hasn't finished that, but that was the next thing. because we did the security cameras, the next step was to have key fobs to get into the door that would have another added level of security. We're still waiting on that. I don't think it's gonna cost $50,000. So I don't know.
Let's do this.
I mean, I'm fine with voting it and saying no and just saying it didn't pass, or we just say it doesn't.
Are they raising any of the money, the Booster Club?
The total cost of them are $25,000. They got 5,000 from the town. They want us to match the town. They're covering the rest of it.
See if we can't buy some time with Brenda and see if we can't fund this the next month. Let's have some discussions on what we think, what we feel. If we have to go to a vote, we'll go to a vote next month.
Sounds fine. That's all I had done.
Great. Thanks, Kelly. Greg, what do you got for us?
Well, I just got back into town, so I don't have much, although I would like to continue the dialogue about how we're gonna appropriate the additional tax revenue. We talked, I don't know, for many months now about capital reserve funds. That hasn't materialized yet. We have a roof that I know is coming up later in the meeting. We have some options there, but I think that we need to be able to tell people
Right.
that we had a plan in mind, and here it is. And
So Dennis, kind of what Greg's talking about and translate for you.
fine.
But, last year when we did the budget, we decided we weren't gonna raise taxes and property taxes, we keep the rate the same. But what we messed up on is that, the assessments went up and that gave us additional monies.
I think there was
So-
more property that was taxable and that's what did it.
That and
Yeah.
also the additional.
Probably a combination.
Or both, yeah.
Right.
So we have additional monies and we've always, that money would be allocated to account. Well, that's not good enough, and then rightfully so, we gotta be held accountable for it. When you say capital fund, what does that mean? What does that consist of? So what we need to do is say, okay, capital fund, we're up for the fire department,
Infrastructure.
$50,000, right? So we need to go back, and I think we need to do it before the next budgeting season, right? And allocate the additional monies that we actually are raising and allocate that to some kind of capital project. So I agree with you, Greg, we probably need to sit down and take some time and do that.
Whether that's one project or three projects or five, however
Right.
many that is, but we need to
Okay.
get after that.
I would agree with that. And then we need to fix that for next year so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we did put $50,000 into a reserve fund, but we didn't designate a specific, like, I guess with the state, you have to designate it a certain way in order. You're saying no? Okay, well, I think there's something that we don't have that we need in order to, because we can't do a savings account. Like, I want to be able to put so much money every year for a $300,000 roof that we're gonna need to do in 5 years, rather than have to budget for it now. You know what I mean? Pull it out of that. But I would like to be able, I'm gonna put 100 this year, I'm gonna put another 100 next year, but because of, we're using their tax dollars, we can't do that unless we have a specific special account, and I think that's what we need to follow up with.
Right.
Because I don't think we have that yet, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
So I don't know where we're at with that, but we need to push through.
And catch up, and again, as we go to the next budgeting season,
Yeah.
we're gonna make sure we do it right this time.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Sarah,
Hi
eye in the
there.
sky, what do you got for us?
Nothing from me this month.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to correspondence, Dake report. SPDES report, any questions? Nothing looks unusual, the same, I think, as most of the months. I don't even see the reports in my packet. I did, here's the SPDES.
Oh, I do see. Okay,
That's fine.
I do see the SPDES one.
That's good. Any questions about the Dake report? Any questions about the SPDES report?
Dink report's not here, so we're only doing the other ones.
Okay, then no questions.
No question.
All right. All right, moving on to old business. Let me get this out so I can get this right real quick.
Oh,
Oh, that was the marathon correspondence.
I'm sorry, yep. This is, Sackets Harbor Marathon and half marathon dates. As you guys know, we just concluded a very successful second annual Sackets Harbor Marathon. Well done to all those involved, for all those who volunteered, and all those in charge. I think last year we gave her a blanket,
5 years? or
5 years, 10 years.
10 years.
She's gonna get Labor Day. The uniqueness about this marathon that we have here in Sackets Harbor is that it happens in September. And by having this marathon in September, it allows people to qualify. For those who do qualify for Boston, it gives them 2 years to run that race. Well, if we were to run the same marathon next year on Labor Day, it happens to be on 31 August. Therefore, you wouldn't qualify for 2 years, you would only qualify for one. That's why people like the Sackets Harbor Marathon. It's so late in the marathon season and it qualifies you for 2 years. So she's asking for an exception to the thing we voted on last year, which is instead of Labor Day, we push it one weekend to the weekend of the 7th, Sunday, September 7th, next year's Sackets Harbor Marathon. Does this board have any concerns or issues? Everything else will remain the same. She will provide the necessary paperwork, insurance, volunteers to execute another successful event.
I have no concerns.
Do we vote on that, Peggy, or can we just say, go ahead and move it? Okay.
Yeah, just let her know we're okay with it.
Yep. All right, thank you. All right, let's go back to the old business, resolution number 11. You guys remember last year, last month, we, as a board, voted on, allowing Jim Burrows, our lawyer, to not entertain a $2,000 request from George McCullough pertaining to the property out there, number 10, lot 10 on Bayview Road, Bayview Drive. We said no. So, and once we said no, the Burrows went back, talked to George. George dropped the suit altogether. So what George now needs from us is to actually put that in the resolution that we actually did vote, not entertain that $2,000 suit. By George McCullough. Did I get that right? Sounds like it. Okay. So that's what we're gonna vote on real quick. We're gonna vote on resolution number 11 of 2024 to settle the action regarding the zoning question, George McCullough. Okay. Hey, do you have to read this or can we just vote on it?
Thank you. But there's one thing, we're agreeing to this, and that was the setbacks on the property. I think they want it to go back to the setbacks of the original agreement when it was approved to be used as a building.
I think it's that third one, local law 2 eliminated the 30-foot waterfront setback. Is that it on the front? Reducing the rear yard setback to 15 and set the lot width to 70 feet.
It would go back to the last zoning law setbacks, not the current zoning.
Okay. And that was a question that George had, right? That was the issue.
That was the issue. Yeah.
Got it. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do roll call vote. Sounds like we have to do. I'll make a motion to pass resolution 11 of 2024 to settle the action regarding the zoning question from George.
I'll second that.
Right?
roll call, I think.
Yeah.
Trustee Townsend,
Yes.
trustee Silva,
Yes.
Yes.
trustee Maleta,
Yes.
Resolution number 11 of 2024 has passed. Okay, next old business, roof quote. Right now, we're up to 2 quotes to repair the roof. Remember, repair is a keeper in all this, it's not replace. So we got the lowest quote, latest quote was what, 31,000?
Mhm.
To repair the much needed roof on top of the fire department. We would like to get this passed sooner rather than later, given the season that is upon us, right? As far as the rain and snow and all that stuff that's about to show up here probably in 2 or 3 weeks. I want to make a proposal to this board that we go ahead and accept this quote contingent on a couple issues. First off, I would like to propose that we do accept this quote and we move forward with it. First, we have to do, I would like some references, to do a background check and do some references on Albert J. LaFrance, right? Just to make sure that there's nothing in his past that would raise red flags, okay?
Make sure he's done this before.
Right. The second thing I would like for us to do is get an actual contract drafted, proposed, and then signed by Alex when he gets back as well, okay, an actual contract. And then maybe even reviewed by the lawyers just to make sure. Okay, and with that contract will come things like he has insurance, obviously. We don't want anybody on top of the roof, fixing our roof, falling off the roof and suing the village. So all those things that go into hiring a professional laborer, construction contractor to do some work like this, we've got to get that in place. That's my motion.
I second that motion.
All in favor, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Have any questions about it, Greg? Do you agree?
I'm just reading through it again. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just wondering if we need more, a little bit more detail in here. I mean, it's kind of generic, his description.
Yeah.
Maybe have PCA or somebody take a look at it.
Do you think with that drafting of an official contract between Albert and the village, we could have some of those details? Maybe we can work through some of those details.
We could ask for a condition of that could be a spittle of more detailed specifications.
What do you think is missing?
I don't know if anything's missing. I'm just, I'm reading it and it says hatch opening with insulated board. I mean, that's a very generic description. It seems to me like there should be a little more detail there.
Here's the other alternative. We get a third quote from somebody else.
Lynn says he's asked people, so we only have 2. Like he's asked multiple people and we've only gotten 2. I wish we had Lynn's in here so that we could compare the 2 to see what the other guy quoted. I don't have access to it. I didn't bring my folder from last month, but it would have been nice to sit down to see, I guess, the 2. I mean, I know the other one was more. But maybe he was doing more things that would warrant the money.
Yeah, I just remember not too long ago, we asked for quotes and I don't remember specifically what for, but one of the quotes was very generic. And I think that's what we actually ended up going with once we got more detail, but
it does make me nervous to not have it explicitly. That's why I wanted a contract. That's why.
and if we
checking
can get
references
those
and-
things in the contract, that's fine.
I would be comfortable with if we get that official, not on his letterhead.
Right.
And Lynn walks through with it. Lynn takes a look at it and says, okay, if we do all these things, it fixes the
Right,
issue that we have right now.
right,
So.
right. Is there a warranty?
That's what I was gonna say next.
Right? Is he giving us a warranty with it?
some
That-
kind
I mean,
of-
that's not on here. So
Okay.
that would be my next, I would add to your contingency, asking for a warranty of some sort. I just don't want to spend money and then not have it be fixed and then have it be a nightmare that we're continuing to keep.
So, Peggy, just for the record, so what we want to do is conditional approval. Forward, right? But before we even pay, before we even start any kind of work, there's got to be a couple things that need to be produced, right? The first thing that we want him to produce, we said is the
Contract,
contract itself,
calling references.
the background check and the reference stuff, okay? Once the background check and the references and all those things have been cleared and we're ready to go, no red flags, and we have an official contract that addresses the issue, then we'll move forward with this guy I think, to kind of fix her up.
Yeah. Do you want me to have, I can have Lynn follow up. Alex is out of town, so I can have him do it.
I have also conversation there, a certificate of insurance.
Yes.
and
Warranty.
Warranty.
Yes.
For that, yep.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, it's contingent on have all of those things. And if one of the pieces are missing, then I say, no, we're not moving forward.
Right.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
So he's got to have all of it.
Those conditions, that's what the contingency is. Those conditions have to be met before we even consider for it. Okay. All right.
So I'm a, yes, waiting for that.
He's an aye,
An aye.
as
Aye.
long as those conditions are met.
Yes. Yep.
So that was full house.
Yeah.
Right.
Did Sarah say yes?
She did.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. We're good then. Yep.
So the next topic is the pay rate for our part-time interim treasurer. Say hi, Dennis. Hey, if you guys who don't recognize this young gentleman over here, this is Dennis. Dennis is going to he's going to be the interim treasurer for right now. He actually does the town's accounting for them. And we're going to do a shared service with the town through Dennis, which is something I think we should do more of, I think with the town. So this will be that very first thing that we do. But we've got to settle on a pay rate for Dennis. And this pay rate will carry us through this budgeting season. So when we get to the next budgeting season, we'll have to talk to the town and see what they're going to pay. Because ultimately what they're going to do, they're going to pay half and we're going to pay half. But he's going to be supporting the town 32 hours or something like that, I think.
Not that much.
Not that, okay.
I'm working a third job right now, so.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
And I think this rate gets us until he's done with it. It's into the end of December, right?
Right.
Right. It's not the end of the fiscal year, because that would be
Yes.
May. It's actually the end of this calendar year. And then you'll be able to do 50/50, and then we won't do the hourly rate. We'll have a contract at that point.
That's correct.
So this is to get us from now until then.
And that's because that's when the town's budget.
True. I
Is
forgot about theirs.
start,
Yeah,
yeah.
theirs is different than ours.
So right now, talking to the town, and Dennis, you probably spoke with them as well, I think. An hour interim pay rates from now until the end of this year, which when you think about it, still is significantly less than we were paying our treasurer before.
Mhm.
So she was making $3 an hour, so.
Kind of with my tight time frame right now, I told Alex, I said, hey, I know how to run payroll, and I can get the bills paid. I don't know how much more bandwidth I have till the end of the year.
Right. So I
That's-
think Jim offered to help fill in some of those
Yep.
pieces. Okay.
And that's the beautiful thing about doing this on an hourly rate right now, because Jim will be able to fill in
Right.
some spaces where you can't because you're overwhelmed with other stuff.
I guess my only question is Jim gonna be doing the treasurer's report? Because right now you're paying the bills and doing payroll. So will Jim be, like, we need a treasurer, we're gonna have to report to somebody.
I had that conversation with both Alex and Jim last Friday, that the previous treasurer, I mean, it was a full-time job.
It was, yes.
Based on my initial understanding, there was a lot going on in the office.
Right.
That was my concern. How's everything all gonna get done that needs to get done?
Sure. I think we all think that maybe there was opportunity for us to do the shared service. I think maybe,
Yeah.
if we do split, 2020, where it was going to be come 1 January. One person is probably a very talented person, is probably more than enough to cover, I think, the requirements.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We just got to keep you focused and specific on certain tasks, right?
Right. I think the other treasurer, she had other
Yes.
tasks and responsibilities that weren't just the treasurer. So I think that was part of that too. So this will just be paying the bills, doing the treasurer report. So I think it would be okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to put the pay rate for Dennis for the rest of this year at $35 an hour as far as the account.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
I'm gonna skip over post position for grant writer. And the other one, post position for grant writer. I'm gonna punt that to next month as well. Okay. I'm gonna open up a second public comment window, if who has something to say. I will start with those who are physically here in the room. Public comment, anybody comment from the public? Dave?
Yeah, actually, I should have said this during the community. This is for the Historical Society.
Yeah.
We had a good year, a couple right now, but we had a good year with the concerts, and I wanted to thank support of the village, especially and Lynn and W. They're always.
Thank you. I was 90% this year. My goal every year is to get to 100% of all the concerts. And if there are rainouts, they don't count. So they don't get my number. So I was 90%. I missed the last one. Anyway. Great. Thanks, Dave. Anybody else? Anybody online, public comment? Nothing heard. So I'm going to close public comment at this time. I don't have anything further. Do you guys have anything further? Kelly, Gray? Staff?
Nope.
All right, Sarah, yep. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting for today.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you guys very much. Have a great evening. Hour and 10. Son of a gun. Son of a gun.
We tried. We tried.
I know.
Still a record, probably.
It is. I punted those last two because they're not time sensitive. And I want Alex to explain to you because I'm not sure I see it the way he sees it. Okay.
Okay.
He wants to hire a full-time guy right now. But
I don't think that I.
talk to you guys about $1,000, right? And that's what this grant would be for.